Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2M Net podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. This is episode 242, and I am your host Sean Garmer. Here with me, as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, first of all, I want to say that if you didn't happen to catch that we did a show in the middle of the week that was focused on the console wars, but it was mainly focused on the documentary, the CBS All Access documentary, Console Wars, based on the Blake J. Harris book. It's about an hour and 30 minutes, and we talk all about it along with Sean Comer. It was great to have him on. He had a blast, and we also talked about what we think about next gen, some things about it at least, and some memories too as well. And those of you that did listen said you enjoyed it, so we might do one for high score yet. Not sure, because that's a little bit more involved. That's like watching 3 of those and having to watch all of those episodes again just to get a refresher. It's something I gotta carve out time for. Well, Mark, anything going on with you here?
Nope, playing a few games. That's about it. You?
Yeah, I haven't been able to really play anything this week. I've been slowly poking away at that review in the little bit of time that I have, between working. So, hoping I can knock a lot of it out tomorrow so I can have that done and then get working on your guys' reviews and, have all of that to go on. So, just in case this is the first time you're hearing us, or if it's the manyth time that you've joined us, always appreciate it. And you can always subscribe on whatever podcast feed you're listening to. I did submit the entire W2M network along with our show. And you can also, of course, I should mention that you can also check out Jens and Randy on a podcast that's also on the network if you subscribe to that feed, or you can just find Chapter Select on whatever feed you'd like. And they talk about, right now they're going through Judgment still, but Jens did talk about him playing some 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, and Randy's been playing Carrion, and some other things, so they talk about that on there, so definitely should go check them out. And of course, Jens helps us edit the podcast, so should always give him a little bit of a plug when we can. And yeah, I know you don't necessarily care too much because you're not. Obviously it's a bit more interesting to me because that's the console I have pre-ordered at the moment, is the Xbox Series X, and a lot of influencers and the big websites and big podcast personalities have had a chance to already have the Series X in their homes, and of course all they're really being able to tout is backwards compatibility features and the quick resume and turning on the console, that kind of thing, and what it looks like. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're looking to play, games will be coming out around that time for the console, but for the Xbox, really, you're not really getting outside of Cyberpunk, which is really a game that's made for the last gen of consoles anyway. Outside of Cyberpunk, you're really not getting a new game per se, because everything's going to be cross-gen, whereas PS5, I guess, at least gets Spider-Man. Maybe that's also a PS4 game. But, yeah, so, I don't know if you've seen any of it, Mark, but
I just took a few pictures, but nothing too major.
Yeah, I really like seeing that games are, the effect of load times is very significant. I mean, again, we're talking about older games, so of course they should load faster. But just seeing that some games are like a full minute. I think like Red Dead was like a full minute difference. Final Fantasy 15 was a big difference, Halo 5 wasn't much of a difference, but it's still something, and this is also on the quick resume, which did show, I think it takes anywhere from like 6 to 10 seconds for a game to load up, from its save state. So that's cool. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm going to use that as much. I might use it for like a couple games that I'm going back and forth between. But yeah, it is really nice. And I think that's cool that people are already getting in their hands. It helps get the Series X press, which obviously you could argue that, Microsoft needs that right now. Sony's in the driver's seat, so perhaps they're being a bit slow about that just because they feel like maybe they don't need to. It helps keep the hype going, perhaps, or maybe they're just waiting for this to kind of calm down and let Microsoft have a little bit of wave of press, and then when that calms down, they can get people some consoles. I don't know. Maybe not. A lot of times, the earliest, aside from this, the earliest you usually see people getting consoles like a couple of days before, and they're still not allowed to post anything until like the day of, or maybe the day before. When at that point, the only people that are really got a chance at doing anything is the ones that are camping out for maybe like the one or two that'll be released without a pre-order. And that's pretty rare these days anyway. But
yeah.
I don't know. You think we'll see PS5 stuff before then?
Yeah, like they'll show the like user interface or some features sometime.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it'll be like a huge difference between the PS4, because that was like between the PS4 and the Xbox One, like one had a functional UI and the other was the Xbox One. So
right, that's true. I mean, and it really does look like a lot of the UI is pretty much the same for Xbox. I mean, even the startup sounds the same to all the other Xboxes. So,
I think there's like some rumor with PS5 that like it's gonna have like a 100 friend party limit, like a party system.
Again?
And it's like, first of all, who has 100 friends?
Well, some people do. If you're really popular.
Like game journalists, or like Twitch streamers, but those people, few and far between. Like,
yeah, I don't understand the limits anymore. Like, how big are these consoles now? We really have to have friend limits still? Yeah. Like, I don't remember Microsoft's having a friend limit at all. I didn't remember being able to, like, just constantly add people. Of course, that would happen to me all the time with Rock Band. You could play online and people would add me, and then, you could, when I was playing that still. But, yeah, so there is some news to discuss here. Of course, we talked about this last time, and we already knew this anyway, but there's been some folks that have done the work to show that there is a lot of work being done to the remaster. And of course, the biggest thing that came out this week is that Spider-Man's face was redone. And he looks a lot like Tom Holland from, the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Kind of, but like you look at a weird mix between him and Andrew Garfield, honestly. Yeah,
I could kind of see that a little bit too, like a younger Andrew Garfield with like a smash of Tom Holland's face in there. Like he definitely had the hair.
Yeah.
So
they should really just they should say screw it and just use the face of Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what matters, is that Yuri Lowenthal's still doing the voice. So, at the end of the day, it's what you need to think about. People really made a big deal about that.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it matters nothing to me. Like, you only see him maskless with that, like when he's in a cinematic. Like, you're always wearing a mask in the damn game. So,
yeah,
who cares?
That's the thing that I was kind of like thinking too. I was like, he's got a mask on most of the time. Like, what is the big deal?
Yeah. It reminded me of the freak out. To a lesser extent, but still, it reminded me of the freak out when they changed Dante into the DMC game in like 2013. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, he doesn't have white hair anymore." It's like, who cares? Like,
that one's I think a little bit different though.
Well, it's like, is the game good? Yes, no. Then, if yes, then buy it. If no, then don't, or play it.
Yeah, I feel like, it's good. Like, it's good that, there's a lot of work being done to that remaster. It's always good that, you can feel like you're really investing that $20,
Yeah.
So, hey, it is what it is. I think that that's not such a big deal as, the other thing that's kind of come out about the PS5 recently is just this weird thing whereas, Microsoft has it to where, okay, doesn't matter if it's an old game, if it's a new game, if it's, on your PC, if it's on whatever, your save will transfer, right? And Sony just has this mixed messaging where it seems to be left up to the developer.
Yeah.
And Insomniac just basically almost felt like they were coaxed into it because they weren't going to do it at first, and then it felt like at some point last week they just all of a sudden said, "Oh yes, it's going to transfer." And
I think people are getting way too hung up on this stuff. It's like, if it transfers, cool. If not, hey, I'll play it again, or maybe I won't.
Well, some people might have made a lot of. I'm sure this is going to come up with Final Fantasy VII Remake whenever they make that part 2 and they allow for seamless progression between part 1 and part 2, and they go, well, not your PS4 save. And people are going to be like, I don't know that I want to play 40 hours of game again, And
no, it'll just be like starting a new game, or start start section 2. Have a fully leveled character or party, and probably, if not all, most of the material you need, and go at it. Or that stuff will be so devalued in the actual part 2 that it won't matter.
Well, but I think it's not bad to make you feel like that progression that you did in the first game is not necessarily just, oh, well, that was it.
Yeah, but it's like Mass Effect. You could bring your character in, but it's not you got every power. Or you didn't bring in your fully leveled character.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends. They definitely could do that if they wanted to. But who knows what Square Enix is gonna do at that point. It's definitely not gonna be you're talking about a couple of years down the line at that point. That's a bigger decision to decide whether you want to support PS4 at that point.
Yeah.
It's not the decision they had to make with Avengers, where I think it is transferring over because it's basically coming out. It just came out, and
well, Destiny is the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Destiny, you have to that's the whole point of those. But yeah, that seems to be also the thing this week is, well, Sony's not being, and I do think that Sony could help them in being a bit more transparent with this stuff.
Sure.
I don't know that it's,
I don't know. The last generation, saves didn't transfer over.
Well, but now you have the cloud. It's weird that you can't tell people your stuff doesn't transfer over.
Yeah, but unless the PS5 save system is different, or that's how it handles saves is different. I don't care. I don't know why people are getting so annoyed by this or angry. It's sure they could mandate it more, but they probably don't care either. They're like, well, it's a new system, whole new, you're starting fresh.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that I've been saying this, a few times now. Maybe Microsoft doesn't even get close to Sony as far as system sales or whatever. But again, just the fact that it exists and it is being very consumer friendly, and the fact that it's doing the opposite makes people get upset when Sony doesn't do the same. And
I'm sure Sony's response is, "Oh well, you'll still buy it anyway."
Right. That will probably be the large response. People are not going to not buy these consoles because their one save didn't transfer over. But I'm just saying, it's those quality of life things that you could be a bit more honest about and just say, okay, we're leaving it up to the developers. They can decide whether they want to do it or not. It has nothing to do with us. Stop getting mad about it. There you go. Just use them as the scapegoat. Solves your problem. I don't know. I feel like you could just say that and that solves all your problems. But they like to be silent about things, and then it makes a lot of speculation happen, and then,
Yeah, and then Sony does eventually come out with something and they get more riled up. So,
yeah.
Sony's probably smart for not saying anything.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Sony, they do have PS Plus games coming because, it's another beginning of the month. It's crazy to think we're already in October as, the president is having to deal with his own COVID-19 issues now. And that's going to be interesting. I'm sorry, my girlfriend is screaming because the Miami Heat are in the NBA Finals. I don't know if y'all hear that or not. And they're probably going to end up losing this game, but we'll see how that goes. So a Vampire and Need for Speed Payback are the PS Plus games for October 20th. And
also, I think
Bloodborne's free as well, right?
Yeah, but they didn't announce that, or I don't know what the deal is with that one.
Well, if you didn't, get it, I think it's been at least PS Plus 1 support because I already had it, but, you don't really have to freak out too much because if you get a PS5, it's part of that Essential Collection or whatever.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have a PS4 right now, don't worry, you'll be able to play Bloodborne in a few months when you get your PS5 if that's you.
Plus, I imagine they'll probably do some even more upgraded copy later on, or versions of the PS5, because that's the game that people really like.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, you liked Vampire decently enough, right?
I mean, kind of.
Well, but they improved the combat since I think you had to review it or what.
Okay, maybe it's fine, but yeesh.
I don't know about Need for Speed Payback, but
that's one of the better ones, but it's still a Need for Speed game in this generation cycle, so it still kind of sucks. Need for Speed really sucked this generation as a franchise.
Yeah,
They kept trying this whole interconnected world stuff that Forza does, or I think even Test Drive Unlimited did, and it's they kept failing at it because no one really wanted that, or they should have badly.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that we're sitting here
and they pumped out Need for Speed games almost every year since 2015 or 2014. And it's none of them are particularly good.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to, was that as for as many of these games that they put out, they really didn't, improve them that much throughout all that time.
Yeah, I think the latest one, Heat, is it's okay, and
Right.
Rivals is fine. They're all, I mean, most of them are fine technically, but it's not good, or just not
Yeah.
the good ones are Most Wanted or Hot Pursuit, and
Yeah, that's true.
it.
People are still wanting that Hot Pursuit.
Well, they're still teasing the remaster of that, which will be good, probably.
It would be nice if they did get to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Also missing the Xbox Gold games.
I mean, for the one thing I will say is Sony has really, I mean, it helps a lot that the games with Gold have really just gone downhill.
Yeah.
Since Game Pass has been around, there's not really any kind of,
I mean,
push for.
It's 4 games, and the only good one, or the only one that I even know of, is Costume Quest.
Yeah, Costume Quest, but that's been on there I don't know how many times.
Yeah, no offense to Costume Quest, but it's damn near, I think it's maybe 10 years old. If not, I mean, it's at least up there. Yeah, it came out 10 years ago.
Oof. I mean, it's a good game. It's not anything I would, I think, well, plus Costume Quest 2 is much better as well, so.
Yeah. I actually didn't like that one as much, but I like the first one quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. It's been such a long time since I played them that
I didn't like the time travel aspect in the second one that much, personally. Or it felt like it, weirdly broke the magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it got, too fantastical. Because I like the first one that it's a pretty simple story, premise of these kids are, kind of imagining turning into these, heroes and battling the goblins, whatever the fuck they were. But the second one's hey, we go to the future. It's what?
Well, oh shoot. No. Sorry, I'm trying to also, install stuff while we're doing this, and, now, they used to not ask you these questions when you're trying to install Game Pass stuff, and now they ask you if you want to create a shortcut. I was like, Not really. Cool. I don't want any more icons on my... I have Genshin Impact. I downloaded that Genshin Impact game, and I was like, I think I'll just wait to see if I ever get to this download on PS4. Because the whole having to remind myself to have to not have a million things... That game definitely takes up some, I guess that'd be the GPU, so that it plays really smoothly, because it's, like interconnected. It's like Breath of the Wild, kind of, where it really wants you to explore and everything. So I don't know if you've seen it. It's like an anime Breath of the Wild sort of looking game.
I know of it, but I haven't played it, and probably won't.
But getting back to the Xbox Gold games for October, Slayaway Camp, Butcher's Cut, Made of Skur, Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, and of course Costume Quest. So
all the big hits.
Yeah. Again, like, hey, if you're enjoying your free games, then do it. But there's a great thing called Game Pass. You can pay your $10 or $15 a month, and you get much newer games that you can check out. And ODST just hit Master Chief Collection for PC. I don't know if you saw that or not.
No, but that's good. It's an alright package, now that they finally fixed it.
Yeah, sure. I've been slowly getting them on PC too, so that's one of the things that, like, never leaves I'll delete stuff off my Xbox every now and then. That's one of the things that never leaves. It's always nice to just pop in and play some Halo when you can.
Yeah.
Well, moving over from all of this stuff here, one more thing, since we're already on that, since we were on PS5 earlier. Something that surprised me just because, it has been, shown at these Microsoft events. So it's not, I guess, that surprising, but it's still a little bit surprising just because for a long time, Yakuza has been a, Sony PlayStation thing. And for the longest time, when it wasn't popular in the US, when, it would just show up on PS Plus sometimes. And that'd be the only way people would know that those games even existed before Yakuza 0. And, now Yakuza Like a Dragon is going to come out November 10th is a launch game for Xbox One, Series X. It will come to PS4 during that launch and PC, but it won't come to PS5 until March 2nd of 2021.
Yep.
And it will allow you to use the smart delivery. If you do buy a PS4 version, you can download the PS5 version at no extra cost when that comes out. But, man, weird to think about that.
Well, it could have been a problem porting it. You had the theory that, they didn't get the dev kit in time, but I was I doubt that. I mean, I'm sure it's been fine. They've had it for a while. They could be adding more shit into it, too. Especially, didn't you say that there's another rumored Yakuza project along the way?
Yeah, there was, but then it was quickly removed.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to be announced during Tokyo Game Show, and then all of a sudden they just pulled it. So I don't know if that's, going to be happening still or not, or if that's going to be announced later, or what that situation is. But yeah, it's PS5 is getting it, and again, you can buy the PS4 version and just get the PS5 version for free. So again, if you're a Sony person and you don't care about whether you're playing on the next gen thing yet or not, you can just get it for your PS4 and get it free later.
I'm sure I'll be reviewing that game. So
yeah, there you go. That'll be awesome time for you. I know Jens is looking forward to it. I'm definitely gonna want to check it out because it's an RPG on this go around. So
it would be fun. Go on.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it'd be funny if, the extra delay time, they're just gonna add in, Cloud from Final Fantasy as, a summon character or something.
That would be nuts. Let's just throw in
just
stuff.
Joker from Persona. Be here you go. This is why it took so long.
Yeah, or they could just, they could add Sonic or something.
Yeah.
Alright. Hey, he's in here. He's a summon. They're both,
yep. Along with the Crabmen and Kiryu.
Well, I mean, that game is going to be so much fun just to to see all the stuff that they packed in it, because every time they have a trailer, there's something hilarious in there.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to like have the full game and just be able to just experience everything that it's got in there. There's going to be a lot of great stuff to have fun with there.
Yep, should be quite good.
But definitely the thing that probably broke the internet, or people think it broke Twitter. I don't think it did. It just
no. They always break Twitter for like 30 seconds, and then Twitter comes back. It's like no.
Yeah, but definitely people were either elated or super upset that Steve from Minecraft, along with other swappable skins, it's really Steve and Alex in Minecraft, and then there's the swappable skins of the Creeper and Enderman. And I will say the reveal trailer was great. Like, I love the fact that it's just you have Mario get thrown into one of the houses, which is like part of the final Smash, and he like the light turns on and it's just a creeper there, and he doesn't know what the hell to do, and he just gets blown up in his face. And the Enderman creeps out from under the box for Snake. It's like, oh, that's perfect. Loved it. I don't know. I haven't played Smash in a while, so I'm not the biggest Smash person, but
yeah. I mean, I think people really were expecting Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I mean, well, the game was coming out. The game came out today, or yesterday, so, it would have been a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, I mean, especially, they're not going to make another PlayStation All-Stars game, so I'm sure Crash is up, free agents, at this point.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just one of these things is like, it's still cool to think about, like, Microsoft is giving franchises out to Nintendo to put in Smash, and,
Yeah, but you still don't really think of, I mean, Microsoft bought, Minecraft from Mojang, at least 5 years ago. Right. You still don't really associate Minecraft with Microsoft.
Right, but it's still like Microsoft has to give that okay, right? And like...
Yeah, but now, I mean, there's also more of a corporate relationship between the two.
Well, yeah, definitely. Microsoft has been playing nice with Nintendo.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's still like I love Sakurai just going in, and people just came and told me that I needed to put Minecraft in Smash, and I was also, like, do you realize I had to put so many freaking blocks in every level? And
I mean, it's just, Minecraft doesn't have Steve is not exactly the most important character in gaming. Like, once they put in Master Chief into Smash, that may interest people a little more.
Yeah, I wonder if that's ever been talked about in this relationship with Halo or with Microsoft and Nintendo.
I'm sure Microsoft may have brought it up, but I can't really see Nintendo wanting to do that.
Well, it's like Samus, right? I mean, how much more different is he than Samus?
More violent.
Okay, but what more? I mean, like, they can kitty up his...
Because Samus has an arm rifle, or an arm cannon, and Master Chief literally has an assault rifle.
No, but it's just a gun. Like, it's still, like, regardless of...
other characters have guns too, but... Or maybe Halo's so locked up with Dead or Alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't surprise me too much by the time we get to the end if Halo or Master Chief winds up being a character in Smash. Do you think that maybe Disney ever bends before we get to number 6 and Sora shows up, or?
No.
I don't either.
I don't think Disney's that interested in games, honestly.
Yeah, I just don't think that they are either. I think people are still fooling themselves.
Plus, the problem with Sora is it's not just Disney, it's also Disney and Square.
Yeah, but Square's not going to say no. They put freaking Cloud in there.
Yeah, but that's their own. I mean, they own that. I could see. From what I always understood, that there's a weird territorial pissing match between Disney and Square about Kingdom Hearts. That's why.
Definitely there is.
That's why the Square influence in the later Kingdom Hearts games went away. Like,
yeah. Well, not really. I mean, it's still Nomura's thing all over it. It's just...
Yeah, but it's not like, you're fighting... I mean, in Kingdom Hearts 3, there's pretty much no Square stuff, really.
No,
except for that one kind of goofy, like, cameo, or, that thing. But, I mean, you're not...
Yeah, the Organization 13 people show up at the end, but the Heartless and all that, that's still Square. That's not... Those aren't Nintendo characters.
No, I'm talking like you're not hanging out with Cloud and, Leon and, Twilight Town.
Oh, well, that was Nomura just deciding I didn't want to put Final Fantasy characters in there anymore. And then they added them as DLC and that stupid thing they wanted you to pay $30 for, which was way more talking and reliving the same stuff over and over than actually adding to the game itself.
Yeah.
And, I'm still, unless that thing goes down to sale of like $10, I'm still not buying that.
I'm sure they'll release some type of complete package on the PS5, the new consoles. It'll be like every Kingdom Hearts thing ever for $60.
Wouldn't surprise me too much, but yeah, it's, it is what it is with that. I'm still excited for the Melody of Memory thing, because I love music games, so.
Yep.
So I'm down with that, but we'll see. That's not too far away. It's, the same week as the consoles launching. It's gonna be interesting how that does.
Yeah, it's like, well, let's see here. Like, are you gonna have money left over for that game?
Yeah, right. Or people are gonna be buying that game. So I guess everybody that couldn't buy them that still has that just has a Switch. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Steve is in Smash now. I think having one of the most popular video games of all time in your game is not anything bad. I mean, and it's a weird character. Like, all the stuff he had to do to make that character work in Smash, that's pretty cool for Sakurai. And I know there's people that hate it and they wanted this guy or this person or this character, but it's like, at least it's not a Fire Emblem character. At least it's not a Pokemon. Like, be happy that it's a different franchise. I think that's what I like the most, is when you get another Fire Emblem character, you get another character from the same franchise. That's where I understand people more. When it's a whole different franchise getting to come to Smash, I mean, I don't know.
Should have been the Eggplant Wizard from Kid Icarus.
Maybe people still hold out hope for Waluigi.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's... in interesting news, I wonder if this Nintendo really did say this, or if this is what lawyers are telling Nintendo to say, but according to, reportedly, the U.S. law firm that is going, it's calling on the consumers to provide video accounts detailing the negative experiences they've had with Nintendo Switch controllers, is saying that Nintendo is telling them that the Switch Joycon drift isn't really a problem, or hasn't caused anyone any inconvenience. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mark, you've had to send in your controller. Would you say that it caused you inconvenience?
Yeah, it cost me a $60 inconvenience. I bought a fucking Pro controller right because of this bullshit.
Well, I definitely would want to have the Pro controller anyway. It's, I think, one of my favorite controllers I've ever had.
Yeah, like, you send your controller away, and this was like last year, so this is when they were doing it fast. It was like 3 weeks before I got my controller back, and it's like, why don't you just set up every GameStop and go, say screw it, and say, bring your controller, bring your Switch in, show it drifts, and you get a new controller.
Oh, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because,
Nintendo hasn't done that, I don't think, in a long time, if ever. They always do that thing where they want you to send it in.
Yeah, but I think if you did that, and people, I mean, there's a difference between, let's say you just got, like, the same color back, that you couldn't, like, change colors, but think about how many controllers Nintendo would have to, like, fix, or, get back. It's a hassle to get another controller, or to send it in the first place. It's like, yeah, and you're sitting there without a basically working Switch.
Yep.
Especially most people only have, like, one set of controllers, too. Like, it's not like, you have multiple
yeah,
sets.
but it's not like it's no big deal to go get another set, because that's $80.
Yeah, exactly. Or think about, I mean, the funnier part is like the Switch Lite controller, or the systems. Because like, okay, let's say your left joypad busts on that, you're screwed. You know?
Yeah.
Or even both do. Like, I mean, okay, technically you can, pair another set of controllers to it, but it's like, that kind of defeats the purpose of the console. Like, of it being this all in one thing.
Yeah, I mean, I had that happen where I thought I lost my left Joy-Con. I had to buy another one, and that was $35, and then, somebody found it, and then my stupid butt forgot to send it back to GameStop, and now it's just there. Send it back to the GameStop online store, but still, the point is,
I mean, this one actually kind of angers me because it's just people always talk about how like consumer friendly Nintendo is, or like they have a great track record, and it's like now when it comes to BS like this,
not really. I mean, they always like overprice their stuff. I mean, they don't do sales. I mean,
yeah,
like they aren't really that consumer friendly. They're good at giving the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, they just have a good repair or, replacement system. That's about it.
Yeah, they have a good replacement system, and they, price their consoles in a budget manner.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And, I mean, that's also because I wonder if they would price in a budget manner if the Wii U hadn't done so badly.
Right.
The Switch might have cost $400 if they could have got away with it. But, yeah.
I mean, what they should do also just maybe in every state open up some cheap or store kiosk, and that's the same thing with the GameStop thing. It's like, hey, if your Switch controller's broken, bring it down, show it, and we'll swap it out real quick. But of course,
they won't do that because then they have to admit that they made a faulty system, and then that's a problem in itself.
I mean, it's not as big as the Xbox 360 issue. But, the Red Ring, but it's pretty up there as far, especially considering it's Nintendo.
Yeah, and especially that your mascot is known for being a platformer, which you need you can't have, Mario games where the thing drifts and you miss jumps and all that stuff because of that stuff happening. I mean,
yeah. I mean, some Nintendo consoles have had quality control issues occasionally, but it's nothing huge. It's happened to me twice. This drift, my Joy-Con was drifting again when after I got that Switch Pro controller. I'm like, well, I'm guessing I'm just never going to use this again. That's fine, I guess. Yours is messed up. I think Yen's might be, or it probably would be, but I know he got a Pro controller early on and just always used that. He never ever used his regular Joy-Cons.
Yeah, and they made the flimsiest kickstand there is, and mine finally, I lost it because it fell off so many times.
Oh.
It fell off and I could never find it again, so I don't know how that would work if I don't ever want to, but if I ever did need to trade it in or something, I don't know how much GameStop would knock me off for that.
No, I mean, you could probably just go on eBay and find a replacement one for $1 or $2 and just slap it on there.
Yeah, but it's such a cheap thing. I mean, it's nice because that means you could grab the kickstand and you could put it on the kickstand and use the Pro controller, which I like to do sometimes. And then one day I was like, oh shit, I lost this thing. Oh well. But it was just super, it would come off all the time because it's just so cheap. But,
right.
It is what it is. This is just, I mean, I get it, you're in a lawsuit, you're not going to admit to it, right? But it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
Nintendo is the king of lawsuits, so.
For good and for bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think no video game company is in more lawsuits than they have, and they know, at this point, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, in other Nintendo news, speaking of lawsuits, they were also in a lawsuit where they actually won $2 million from an online store because in May of this year, I had no idea this was even happening, Nintendo launched a lawsuit against Tom Dilch Jr., based out of Ohio, for a website called Uber Chips, where he claimed that he was selling unauthorized operating systems which enable users to play pirated games on all Switch models. Basically, you could play games you're not supposed to be playing on your Switch. And Nintendo filed a lawsuit, and they won $2 million in damages due to this. Will they actually get the money? Who knows?
No. Related to this also is a couple members from Team Executor, I think got popped and arrested.
Yeah. And one of them was named Gary Bowser.
So yeah, that's funny. Related to Doug.
Yeah, and Reggie I saw a tweet where Reggie, he's like, I want the keys to the kingdom back.
Yeah. I mean, Team Executor's been around for, like, decades, or at least,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. They do some pirated shit, you know, they do some nefarious shit, but they also do good stuff, so, well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see. But I don't know.
I think the problem, like, really, the Switch is, I mean, it is a tablet, and you should be able to use it as such. And the fact that you can't is kind of annoying. And piracy, I'm going to not talk about piracy, because that's not really the issue with this, but them releasing, like, software to make it basically an Android tablet should be fine. But it's when you bring piracy into it, it's like, oh, I can just download every game, switch game onto this, you know, micro SD card and play it. It's like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think, I mean, I think it's so funny that Nintendo keeps going after, like, ROM, like, emulation websites.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. They don't want people to, I mean, think about I lost, because of the stupid thing I did with that drive, I lost all of the, unless I happen to have them on a flash drive that I have there that I think I did delete them, I'm not sure. I lost all of the old games I had. I had games all the way from Nintendo to, I think, GameCube in one.
Sure. But
and then they're harder to find now because, I mean, like a lot of these websites that were around, they weren't even affected by those two websites that got taken down in that one recent lawsuit. Like MU Paradise went down, which was the one that a lot of people used. I used. So,
But here's the issue is Nintendo is still so, and I mean, if anything, they've gotten worse since the Wii and Wii U about, like, virtual console stuff. So, yeah, at this point, and you're never going to get, like, the full SNES lineup on the Switch. You know, they'll have their games, kind of. That's about it. Or, you know, maybe, like, a few third-party games, but you're not going to get, like, Bebe's World on that thing, because, you know, who has the rights and also who cares? Or like, you know,
well, but are we even going to get the full amount of games that are on the SNES Mini?
Probably. You know, I mean, eventually, maybe, except for like Star Fox 2. But I'm just saying, like, if Nintendo clearly doesn't have an interest in really, you know, putting backward compatibility or, like, you know, their retro stuff on the Switch, so it's like, if they don't, I mean, I should have the option to. Or, you know, if not the option, at least I can just do it myself, you know.
Well, I mean, technically, if you don't have a copy of those games, it's illegal for you to have, so, I mean, that's why.
Yeah, but also, I mean, my thing with that would be, it's not like you can buy, okay, I would entertain that notion if I could go into a store and buy a new copy of that game. Like, if I can roll into a Best Buy and
or go into the digital store and buy it.
Or buy NHL, you know, 1993, you know, from Best Buy. Then yeah, I wouldn't have to pirate it if I cared about that game.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna happen. So.
Like, it definitely made more sense when you had it definitely made more sense when you had the virtual console. When you didn't know what was gonna show up, and you did legitimately have a chance of some of these, like, old gems that you can't find again showing up on there. Now it's like they don't have that, and they're just randomly putting games on that thing every 3 to 4 months. Like,
also it's you know, also funny because I mean Nintendo screwed people twice when you think about it, because they had the Wii, which had a great virtual console. They had the Wii U, which had a suckier virtual console, and you couldn't even bring in your old Wii purchases. And then let's say you bought like Mario World on like the Wii. You bought it again on the Wii U virtual console. Yeah. I mean, you can't even buy it on the Switch now.
Well, same thing with the 3DS and all that. Like, that didn't cross over either. And the Wii U, Wii U and 3DS ones were not compatible. So, Like, you could have bought the same game on all three, and it's just like, really?
I'm like moderately against like game piracy, but if the game or the consoles aren't being sold anymore, like ultimately kind of up for grabs.
I mean, like, is it really hurting Nintendo's bottom line if somebody went and downloaded that stuff? Not really, but I can see it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they aren't even putting that stuff online or, for purchase in the first place. So, screw them.
Yep.
Ever heard of a game called No One Lives Forever?
Yes. I feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like kind of an old, I think it came out in the 2000s, but it's basically like a female version of Austin Powers. It's like a spy FPS game. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been re-released, ever. Because the rights are so thorny between, like, Fox, Interactive, the developer of the game, the publisher of the game. Like, there's like three or four different companies vying for, like, ownership, or they don't even know who owns it. So it hasn't been, like, re-released on GOG or Steam or anything. So the only real way to play that game, other than tracking down a pretty expensive original copy, is to pirate it. And it's like, because that's the only way you can really play it anymore.
That's true.
Like, hey, if that game showed up on GOG tomorrow, I probably would buy it, because I'm curious about it, but that ain't gonna happen. So, and the same thing with, like, Super Bonk's Adventure on the SNES. Like, that's not gonna just show up on the Virtual Console one day.
Yeah. It's, probably not, for sure. You're right about that. That's just the way Nintendo is, man. They've been that way. They protect their stuff. They are very protective over their properties. They're very much Disney in that way. And that's just how they are and have been. At least they're consistent.
Right.
Can say one thing there. At least they are very consistent with that. They don't play around, at all.
Yeah.
And also, not really surprised because of all the things that have been delayed due to COVID and everything. But World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion has been delayed. I didn't even know this was still coming out because, like, nobody had been talking about it at all.
I think it's in beta. Like, I think you can just play the beta right now if you have, like, a WoW subscription. But it's funny, I saw the news break, and I still follow, like, one or two WoW streamers on Twitter, and basically they were cheering for it. Because I think the last expansion was rushed way too quickly. Mm-hmm. And it didn't have enough time to get good or bad feedback, so when it launched, it was a fucking mess.
I mean, also, I kind of feel like it's two different things, but I feel like trying to get out of the way of new consoles launching is probably a better thing as well. So just come out later, like in the middle of 2021 when there's nothing going on, right? And people will be excited to play it. I think that's a better idea than just rushing to launch it on October 27th and then like a week or two later, or even then a week later, people are just so fed up with it they stop playing, and it may hurt you more than help you.
Yeah. I think WoW is also, it has lost a lot of subscriptions or subscribers over the past, like, year or two. Like, this last expansion was not good for that game, honestly, in the grand scheme of things.
It was not, certainly. And, well, have you been playing anything? Or?
I've still been screwing around with Hades a little, and, there was something. Oh, Breakpoint, just because I find it oddly relaxing. Because it's so brain dead easy. Well, it's just like the last one, Wildlands. You just, you have 3 AI guys, and they're, you can just set them to kill everyone, like, in a base. It just takes a while. But actually, the thing I've been playing is Super Mario 35.
How is that?
Good. It's real easy, I think. Or, comparatively easier than, like, Tetris 99.
Well, yeah. But, Tetris 99 that was meant to be very hard.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it's you and 34 other players playing like Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. It's funny because like it has a timer and you think you should go fast, but you should kind of go slow. Like you gain time back by killing enemies, but if you set up combos, like with the turtle shell, like it multiplies the timer about like the time you get back. So you get a good turtle shell combo going and you get like 50 seconds back or something.
Yeah. That's funny that, like, I've seen people play it, and you always have that one person that dies at the first Goomba, like,
yeah,
you
I
know
see
what's
that too.
coming.
Like the 35, like the first Goomba. It's like, what are you doing? Like, the online actually works really well. I never had maybe like one instance of like lag a little, but
Yeah.
it plays great. I mean, it plays like Tetris does, and it's like further infuriating because it's like, why doesn't Mario Maker 2 have this bullshit? Like, that's only 4 players, and you can't handle that correctly. Why does this have 35 and it play fine?
Interesting too that, like, this is the kind of thing that they had at those Nintendo World Championships back in the day as well, like playing through this level and like trying to get more points. So kind of cool that they kind of brought that back.
So the weirdest thing about the game, honestly, to me, is how like the levels unlock, because like it's not like you start off at 1. Everyone starts off at 1-1, I think, all the time, and I think it kind of rolls into 1-2. But after that, it kind of varies a little because if it's a warp zone, they can just go normal. But like a normal game is like 1-1. Oh, you can also repeat levels. So it's like 1-1, 1-2, 1-1, 1-2, 1-2, 1-1, 1-3 or something. And there's no rhyme or reason to how levels are selected, or like a lot of levels are locked also. So I only have like, I think levels like 1-1 to 3-2 unlocked, and I somehow got like 7-1 unlocked on like a warp zone, and that was it. And I'm like, how do I unlock the rest of this crap? Like,
that's what I was about to ask you. How do you unlock it?
I have no idea. I'm like because you also have like a coin rank or like an experience rank. I'm like level 35 or 34, and I have like 9 levels unlocked out of like, 32. And it's like, how do I unlock the rest of this crap? Like, I really have no idea. And if anything, it's kind of annoying.
I'm sure you could find out if you wanted to. There's so many people that have unlocked
Well,
it.
no, because even like, I think Ars Technica did a review, and they were like, I think the guy said the same thing. He was like, I don't know how to unlock this stuff. Or I think it might not have been Ars Technica, it might have been like Kotaku or Destructoid or something, but it was like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, yeah, neither do I. I mean,
yeah,
so that's the oddest thing about it, is it's like, it doesn't, like, it's not like, oh, if you hit level 40, you'll unlock 2 new levels. It's like, I don't know, I just found that 7-1 level, because normally if you go into the warp zone, it's like, oh, go to 1-1, 1-2, or 1-2. The fact that it repeats levels in the warp zone is hilarious to me. But it's like, one time I went in the warp zone, it's like, oh, it's 7-1. I almost freaked out. I'm like, wow, a way further level. But I went there, and I got there once, and that was it.
Wow.
There's also this, like, weird concept of, like, you keep your coins. Like, you have, like, a coin at the main, like, start screen, you have, like, a coin bank or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start off with a power up. Like, you can, like, buy a power up, like a fire flower star power. But it's so, like, I already have, like, 6,000 coins. And, like, a fire flower costs, like, 50 coins. It's like, who cares? Honestly, who cares? Like, why don't you just have, like, an in-game store?
Yeah.
And or like, let you buy stages. Like, that'd be kind of interesting at least, because then I could buy some more. But you can also, like, there's like this weird concept of, like, you can, like, pick a stage. So I always pick 7-1. And it never gets picked. Or I don't know what the point is. Because you always start at, like, 1-1. But it's not like, oh, I go from 1-1 to 7-1. It's just, I go from 1-1 to 1-2. Like, it always happens that way. And let me tell you this, I'm getting really good at busting through 1-1. I've played like 3,000 times already by this point. But the game is, like, I think it's fairly easy to get, at least, maybe not top win every time, or like top spot, but I've gotten number 1 at least 5 or 6 times.
Hey, I mean, that's the important thing, right?
I got number 1, like the night of release, like my second time playing. I was like, yep, this is nice. But it's fun. I don't know why they're going to delist it. I mean, it'd be nice if they did more to it personally, but that's me. You should try it sometime since it's free anyway.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I still have to buy the Switch Online thing again.
Oh, okay,
I haven't subscribed for a while because I was like, there's no point.
Yeah, there's always a point. It's called Tetris 29.
Yeah, but I meant, like, I thought about it for a little bit when Donkey Kong Country released, and then I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, but, definitely thinking about it. Mario 35 looks fun, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Daniel has been playing Star Wars Squadrons. I just completely forgot to ask if he had time to come on. I was gonna see if he could talk about it, but I was working today and I just completely forgot. But he,
Jens talked about it some and he really likes it.
You don't have to have VR, right, for that?
No, it's just a regular game. But I mean, VR enhances it, but you don't need it. So,
Okay.
like, Jens also has he's using like a joystick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've thought about whether I want to go trade in my PSVR to cut some of the money for the system, and I don't know. It's like I'd never find myself using it.
Yeah, it's actually it's not a bad idea since I have that Oculus Quest, which is a better headset. So
the only thing I think about is like, do I want to? If it really does work for PS5 at some point, do I want to keep it just to like play Beat Saber on it one day or something? But
no,
I don't know.
No.
Well, the last thing we have to talk about is WWE's in the news again for Twitch, because I know there's people that do not care about this at all, but it's not gaming related. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, peripherally is.
it's tangentially, but so, we talked about this before when there was wrestlers that were using Twitch. For maybe not necessarily video game reasons, but they were doing it to promote themselves or whatever. So, supposedly, WWE is, going to be getting involved in their superstars' accounts and making sure that if you're going to be using those names, it seems like as long as you use your own name, WWE can't do anything. Or as long as you don't promote.
I think they're trying to control everything.
Well, they're gonna take control of all WWE superstar accounts.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, I think, Paige, Soraya, is that how you say her name? I think even, she said that, her account is, getting, taken over.
Yeah.
And it's she's not a wrestler anymore. It's I mean, really?
She's still a superstar, though. She's still a contracted wrestler. She's still getting money from the company.
Yeah, but it's not like her, her Twitch name isn't Paige plays, Battlegrounds or something. It's Soraya Knight or Soraya Beavis plays whatever,
Well, but she did it because she didn't want to, she thought that could help her skirt by the whole issue. And, it is what it is, but, I don't know.
I think they should be allowed to, because first of all, they're not actual employees. So it's
yeah, but WWE owns the trademarks to those characters. They own the,
but they're not streaming as those characters.
Right. Oh, but now that's the thing is WWE's that's what's stupid about this. This is bad because it's not only bad because WWE is gonna take a cut, obviously.
That's the funny part,
and it's gonna hurt, which is even stupider, is somehow it's going to hurt their downside guarantee if they make money off of this.
Right.
But then if you don't comply, you're gonna result in a fine, or you can get suspended, or you can get terminated. So I'm wondering if, early on, Austin Creed already let WWE get a cut of his thing, or how that works.
He's different because he is part of the WWE machine. I don't mean that as a negative, but I mean he's literally getting, other WWE superstars to play with him or to talk or hang out.
Yeah, but how is that different than what this is though? You're still using, WWE's got to be getting something out of that then if they're not attacking him.
I would say the difference is I think Paige is doing it on her own, or she's at her house is doing it. She's not interviewing.
Well, most of the time, what's his face? Austin is doing it at the arenas.
Yeah. Or hotel rooms with, Seth Rollins or someone.
Right.
Or other people. I mean, that's one difference. Or it's what's her name? Asuka. Her gaming, she has a YouTube channel. It's not that gaming related. It's more about, Asian culture or Asian, her being Japanese in America or something like that.
Yeah.
Or her fixing up a Kirby doll.
Right.
I mean, I think it's terrible. Because also, I think
it's awful.
It hurts ultimately, I mean, aside from the financial parts of this, it hurts WWE because, like, I like often creators, like Xavier or Asuka more because they're authentic on these shows, or even whatever dude's name is, Miro or Rusev, or whatever the fuck his name is now.
Yeah.
Like, he was more authentic than. I mean, yeah, it's like, what's the difference between then? We're going to see like the Alexa Bliss Twitch channel where she's as her character, like playing a game.
Yeah, like she already has I mean, that's the thing too. Is like what you're saying is this. So is WWE going to force these people now to do these shows as their gimmick?
Yeah.
Or like if you don't, and like at some point, if they're very lucrative, does WWE all of a sudden go, well, you haven't been streaming in a while.
Yeah.
You better start streaming again, or something else is going to happen. I mean, like
also, like I can't think of another business where you are an employee and you have to pay to like do your job.
Yeah, like that'd be like all of if you have a job now and your side hustle, any job you have decides, oh, we're gonna take a thing out of we're gonna take a piece out of your check.
Yeah.
If we keep seeing you do this side hustle.
That's completely connected to this job.
Right. That has nothing to do with this job. Like,
it's not like when Xavier Woods goes out on, wrestles, or like, is announced to go, oh, go follow him on twitch.tv/Austin Creed or something.
Well, now they are. That's the thing. Now they are.
Well, okay. He's a bad example, but Paige or, Asuka or someone,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Now it's like, I can't wait until WWE becomes like an official partner with Twitch and they start having these special Twitch shows and whatever, that this all leads this up to this.
Yeah.
And like, that's all what this was for, was so that WWE can eventually get their own spot on Twitch or whatever.
Right.
But like,
I mean, ultimately, I think Austin and maybe Asuka are different, but I think everyone else is just going to be like, they'll have like one final show like that the night before and go, hey, WWE is forcing me into this channel or show, and that'll be it.
And that's what's stupid too, is like, so basically you're telling these people that if they get hurt and they do this while they're hurt,
yeah, like
as another way to make money, they get screwed.
Yeah.
Like, it's wow. Like,
that literally happened to Austin Creed. So
it's that's just such a shitty thing. Like, it's just, I get it. Like, man.
I can see it. Like, if Kane started a channel, I don't think he'd be, wearing the mask or the whole get-up, something like that. It'd just be Glenn Jacobs doing a channel. That I can see. Like, if he was as Kane streaming, or like the Undertaker, then yes.
Right, like that's the thing, is like, okay, all of a sudden we've seen Undertaker be way more friendly with, the internet now that he's not, wrestling hardly at all.
Yeah.
And so like, are we gonna tell the Undertaker that now he has to pay?
Yeah.
It's just,
well, it's funny because WWE, they want to control it, but then, if things get too crazy, or they'll disavow it completely. Or
no, but that's the thing. They're going to stop it before. There's no way they're going to let anybody do anything too crazy now.
Yeah, they're going to sanitize it and make it, garbage. And it's like, well, the PG era of Twitch? It's like, good luck with that.
No, it's just so frustrating. Like, it's a very frustrating thing if you're, it just doesn't make sense. Like we talked about last time, like, you need people to have their own thoughts and feelings and minds and like come up with their own ideas, and now you're involving yourself in this and sanitizing it and controlling it, and like
not in Vince's world.
It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like somebody could literally come up with something that gains them fans that they didn't have any other way, and maybe they can develop that at the performance center or on the road or whatever and become a thing, and you can make money off of that. And it's
called Zack Ryder.
Yeah, Zack Ryder, or just anybody. It's like, we don't want the fans to have any say in what we're doing. We want to make sure that whatever we do is we say.
Well, then I think it's like Vince, or at least Stephanie always goes like, "Oh, we're listening to the fan feedback." It's like, no, you're not. Like,
Oh, look how smart, look how great they look now. Roman Reigns is doing great as a bad guy, right? What did everybody want for a long time? For him to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And but the fans were wrong the entire time.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's why. I mean, I don't think. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think AEW is ever going to beat WWE. At least, when it comes to like the big shows. But that's why they are thriving as a company or as like a wrestling product, because they actually care about what fans, fan feedback, and they genuinely seem to care about like the wrestlers, or at least their ideas.
Well, except for a lot of people tested positive because they keep.
But I mean, even they have better standards than WWE.
Yeah, it's just one of these things of like, there's gonna be a point where enough people are gonna go to that other show, it's gonna start making an impact on you.
So here's the funniest thing is, so this is all about on-talent stuff, but like Dan Reichert works for WWE as like a podcast producer, but he also has a fairly big Twitch channel at this point.
Yeah, he just did a Best Games of 2020 with
Mary Kish and Mike Mahardy, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if this affects him. Like, would it actually affect him?
I think it's only on-air talent.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like,
I mean, it makes sense to me, but it's the bad sense, or it's like.
No, like I get it. It makes sense for the way WWE runs things, but it's just like there is a certain time where you get too controlling, and even doesn't matter the money. Even doesn't matter the money. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, you're just pushing your talent to like hate you even more and just hate what they're doing, and
Yeah, you have to wonder about the locker room morale at WWE these days.
It's like, God, it don't make no sense, man. It's like, I get it that for the 1%er that would get so big that maybe they decide that they don't need WWE anymore and they just do Twitch, like that's a really small chance that happens. But it's like, what if you become like another one of these big streamers that you get a whole different audience that all of a sudden decides to watch WWE because they followed you on Twitch, man? It's like, that's part of the reason why I don't watch the show anymore. Like, I don't watch WWE anymore because it's like so, like watching paint dry. You know what's gonna happen, and it's like just generic,
I know you're not watching it, but I think it's hilarious they are positioning Jey Uso as like a big baby face when no wrestling fan could pick Jey Uso out of a crowd ever. Like,
I don't know.
Like he's one of the Samoan guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's about it.
It's whatever, man. It's one of those things. Sorry, we went on a tangent there. Stuff that's not that gaming related, but
that's the main topic.
Yeah, it's the main topic. But yeah, I'm sure there will be more stuff going on with the next gen as we go on with this week, and I'm still waiting to see if we're gonna get a Baldur's Gate 3 early access code to have Daniel be able to talk about that as well. Ekenfell comes out pretty quick here. It looks like an interesting RPG, and FIFA 21 also coming out, which I think that's another one of those games that, well, that one actually, they are having a new season right now, so I don't know how that is compared to the other ones where, and that Prinny 1 and 2 Exploded is coming. I forgot about that. And Torchlight 3, are you gonna be going after that?
No.
Torchlight 3?
I mean, maybe, but I heard when Torchlight 3 got in like early access, there was a lot of negative buzz on it, so we'll see if they manage to fix it or not.
Let's hope so. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I remember reading the talent trees were really shallow.
That's
really
good.
not. You don't really want that in a Diablo type of game. Like you want deep, character customization and stuff like that. It's like this doesn't really have it.
Yeah, for sure. That's weird.
Yep.
Well, from until until we do the show next week, again, thank you so much for listening here. You can always check us out on whatever podcast thing that you like to listen to us on. Hopefully we are on Amazon Music pretty soon here. So you'll be able to listen to us on that if you enjoy your Audible or Amazon Alexa or whatever. And yeah, we'll definitely just keep going here, and pretty soon, hopefully we'll find out if those consoles are actually going to be coming to us or not.
Yeah. It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice to know that we're not going to get canceled like the GameStop Ireland ones.
Oops. Yeah.
But alright, until next week, everybody.
Later.
See you later.